All right, if you find yourself in a situation you're looking to beef up your light kit, but you don't want to spend a lot of money, but you don't want to compromise on professional features in a light, well, you are in luck because there are a lot of really great options today that kind of meet those requirements. I'm going to take a look at one today that I think firmly falls into that category, and that is going to be this Neewer FS300C. Now, this FS300C is a 300 watt RGB WW light that comes with a full-size Bowens mount on it. And what's really surprising about this light as a whole is it actually comes with a lot of surprising professional features as a full RGBW light, but it comes in at a fraction of the cost. These are things that you would normally expect to see to pay around $1,000 for a light system. This thing right now comes in at less than $350. Right now it's about $339 on the Neewer site, and I think you can even get it cheaper on Amazon. It just depends on the sales. Oh, and as a side note, that price does come with a case here as well, so you do get this light with the case for that price. Now, the good news about having a full RGBW light like this is the flexibility that it provides you. You can use this in both a color temperature mode, basically gives you a 2500 all the way up to 7500 Kelvin, which is going to be good for traditional things like interviews and movie lighting, narrative lighting, things like that. That's where you're really going to use the CCT mode. But because this is a full RGB light, it also gives you the flexibility to get creative with your lighting if you're doing a lot of commercial or product photography. Even if you're doing, like, say, headshots and stuff like that, having a light like this that can allow you to quickly change the background gives you a ton of flexibility, and it does it all in one light. You're not switching out lights or having to put on gels and stuff like that. So it's something that if you're looking to build a small studio setup, this is a light that really adds a lot of flexibility and punch to the game. Now, the first mode I will look at here is the CCT mode, and I find the CCT mode to be one of the most practical modes of any light because honestly I do a lot of interviews and this is where I end up using these lights probably 90% of the time. And this thing has a 2500 to 7500 Kelvin CCT mode, but because at its heart this is an RGB light, it has one important factor in that color temperature mode, and that is going to be it has a ±50 green magenta shift built into it. This is going to be really important if you're in a studio or any situation where you're dealing with multiple lights, because over time lights may tend to shift in the green and magenta as they go. And this allows you to quickly dial this in and match other lights. However, all that being said, this is really about flexibility, and this RGB light has a lot of different light modes to work with you on however you want to work. It has an HSI mode, it has an RGB CW mode, it has an XY mode, it has a gel mode, it has 17 FX built into it here, and it actually has a color source mode that lets you quickly pick certain modes. Like, so if you know a light, or maybe you want to make it look more like a halogen or something like that, this allows you to quickly dial that in there. However, all that being said, while color flexibility is nice, there's another really important factor when you're looking at a light. That is going to be power and power output, because you want to have something that can be flexible, not just in light color, but in what you can put on it. And that's one nice thing about having a 300 watt light like this, is it does have a lot of power, so you can punch through diffusers, silks, and softboxes and other aspects like that. Now, this thing has an 11,700 lux at 1 meter if you take this Bowens mount off, and if you want to put a reflector dish on, that goes up to 36,000 lux at 1 meter. And this gives you a really good flexible range in almost all studio environments to have a realistic key light if you need this as a key light, even with a double silk diffuser. I have used this on a 60-inch softbox double silk and been able to get away with it. Now, one thing to note, at 300 watts, you're not going to be able to put this in front of, like, say, a bright window and get the window and the subject lit the same way. That's not really what this is designed for. But for most studio and realistic interview situations, this is going to be enough power to give you that flexibility. Now, one of the things I like about this is the way that it is constructed. Now, this is a plastic body. There's no metal really anywhere in it. It's all solid plastic. But one thing I really do like about it is actually it's got this nice little LED screen here on the back. And what I love is this is a full color screen, and it just feels really good to jump through there and see it. You can see everything is clearly color done. And you know, if I'm doing my HSI and thing like this, I can easily come up and just quickly dial it in. It's got 2 dials on the back, and each dial can click so I can jump between different things, and it's got 2 more buttons, one for mode and one to set up either Bluetooth or 2.4 gigahertz wireless control. So it's got a very simple, intuitive system. It's got this locking XLR cable, which is really nice because sometimes lights can get pulled. So this control screen, these really nice tactile buttons, the locking power level, simple power switch, keeps this thing really practical, and it makes sense if you're on a site how to use it. Now that being said, because this is a plastic body, I really do see this as designed primarily for studios and more controlled environments. This isn't something I'm going to be taking out in the wilds of Montana to try and shoot with, right? This is more of a controlled environment type light. Now I talked about this thing having some really nice professional applications to it as well for the price. And one thing that I just really love is if you come in the menu, you can actually change the dimming curves here on the light itself. So you can get basically a linear curve, you can get S curves, you can do different ways of curving the light on ramps. Now I talked about some professional features of this light that surprised me with the price point, and I really want to talk about the wireless options here. Now the first option you have is it actually has a 2.4 gigahertz wireless control option. You have 99 channels of control built into this light. And when multiple lights are set to the same channel, any one of the lights can then serve as a master unit to control others within a 262 foot or about an 80 meter range. Now all that being said, the wireless 2.4 gigahertz thing is cool, but what I consider the most practical way to actually work this light and unlock everything it can do is going to be with the Neewer app. And once again, this light is controlled through an app, which makes it really, really functional, especially if you're putting it in a studio environment or it's away from you, or you just want to change things. Now the app has all the functions you would want to have in an app. You have full control of this light and plus some. Now, as you can see, you obviously have the CCT with the green magenta shift. One thing I really like here is you have that light source mode I talked about, but I really like this source match. And as you can see, it's got like a little, it uses the camera on your phone, and you can point it at a light and it'll try and tell you what the light source is. And then you can tap that and select that. And now what's gonna happen is this light will then go to match whatever that light source is. That's a really, really useful thing if you're trying to match lights. And it doesn't stop there. You know, this has access to all the HSI RGB. There's also a picker that you can go and just pick a random color and get the RGB to match that light. So a lot of flexibility, a really, really cool professional look thing here in the light. This app really, really unlocks it. And of course, the fact that you can control this from across the room and not have to get it up makes it just a must-have in any light that I would consider you're gonna get today. Oh, hey, and I did want to cut away from the review of that light to just point out one other thing that I think is a really good accessory that Neewer actually makes. And that's this: if you get a light like this, you're gonna want to get a good stand. And nothing beats a C-stand as far as versatility and longevity. It's by far an investment if you have a light you're going to want to get. And this is the Neewer C-Stand that they make, and this is a really, really quality C-Stand. One thing about this, if you've ever used it, this thing is super tall. You can really get your lights crazy high if you need to, but because it's a C-Stand, it's got this boom arm. What this boom arm does, this allows you to really have the flexibility to, you can boom your lights out over things, or even if you want to go low, you can take this boom arm and actually lock it in and bring your lights low. So the versatility and flexibility of a C-stand like this really unlocks what this light can do. Because the other good thing about these C-stands is they have these knuckles up here at the top that allow you to put things like flags or other modifiers. And what I like about this has both a traditional mount, but it also has a 1/4-inch screw at the top if you want to screw some stuff in there. So this is just one of those things, if you get a C-stand, you're gonna keep it forever. This will far outlive all your gear. I guarantee you this one C-stand right here, I will probably still be using a decade or more from now. Now, whenever I do a review, I always like to point out any rooms for improvement, just so you're fully aware of what a thing is and what it isn't, just so you can make the best choice if this makes sense for you. Now, for right now, the biggest thing that I would say is a room for improvement in this thing is just the fact that the Bowens mount itself is a hard plastic Bowens mount. It is not metal. Now this is not going to be a big deal if you have smaller modifiers, things like reflectors, or even smaller softboxes. If you are someone that likes to work with giant softboxes, like a 60-inch softbox, stuff like that, you run the risk over time of potentially cracking a hard plastic Bowens mount. So it is just something for you to be aware of. So there you go, guys. This is the Neewer FS300C. Got a lot of really, really cool features at an amazing price point. Thought it might be something that makes your life a little more interesting to learn about. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. Leave me notes and comments down below. And yeah, go out there, keep on shooting. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon.